Welcome back, everybody. Finally, Power Book 2 Ghosts has come back to the airwaves. We no longer have to deal with BMF and all of that they have going on there. And it is your girl, Keemie. We are back for Chronicles of Power for season 3 of Ghosts. And today, on this very first episode of the podcast, we have a very special guest in the building with us. His name is Mr. Petey McGee. Now, just in case you don't know who Petey McGee is, you've already been introduced to him. He has been playing a character by the name of Salim on Ghost. So you just met him on the first episode. And if you don't know who Salim is, I think, Diana's love interest, or supposed to be Diana's love interest. But without further ado, I'll let him introduce himself to you. Go ahead.
Yes. What's up? What's up? I am Petey McGee, Salim Ashe Freeman on the show. TA in the classroom to our beautiful new professor that we have this season. Yeah.
Okay.
Kansas City, Missouri. That's where I'm from. I gotta, shout out my town.
Yeah, he got to shout out his town because not too many people repping Kansas City, Missouri. So definitely put your stamp in. So, just to clarify, this class that we're in right now, that's still canonical studies, or is this a different class?
Yeah, it's canonical studies, but like a better one. Because I'm in the classroom.
Oh, there we go. I thought you was going to say. I thought you was going to say because the messy professors are dead.
Nah.
I got it. So you the TA, you think it's better because of you?
Yeah.
And not because of Monica from Girlfriends?
I mean, yo.
You better give Shorty her credit.
I got to shout out. I really got to shout out Keisha Sharp. Like, she came in there. We used to be, when we filmed the scenes in the classroom, like, it's like she come in and she take over that classroom. We all sitting there like we was really in class. Like, okay. She's a presence and a force. So yes, shout out Keisha for sure. She makes the classroom scenes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I'm guessing you too, and also my favorite, Brashandria.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro. Big Bang Bisha.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, so you talking about gang culture already? We just started.
That's my dog.
we just started. Okay, so my first question for you is, obviously you just said that you are from Kansas City, Missouri, and we film in New York, and I'm guessing that you've been here for some time.
Yes.
When did you move to New York?
I moved up here 2017, 18, something like that.
Oh, so you've been here for a little bit.
Yeah, I went to grad school at Rutgers.
Oh,
I was in Jersey. Yeah, I graduated with my master's in acting 6 months before I booked Power, pretty much.
You hear that? He's taking this very seriously.
Yeah.
Okay? So you went to Rutgers and you've been here. How is your adjustment from coming from Missouri to New York? How's that been?
It wasn't too bad for me. I got family up here, so like I did my undergrad at University of Missouri, and I knew I was going straight into grad school. I was looking into a lot of grad schools. I auditioned for all the top programs, got into most of them, but I chose Rutgers because it was more home to me because I spent half of my life in Jersey.
Okay. So you've been up here.
Yeah.
Okay,
my pops, so all my siblings live up here, or the majority of my siblings, they live in Jersey.
Okay.
So I was always back and forth my whole life. So I knew the area, and it was an easy sell when, Rutgers is one of the top acting programs in the country.
Tough.
And
Let
then,
them know.
Yeah. And, so that, for sure that, and then I was like, well, I'll be close. I got my sister, I got my support system up here and stuff. I was raised part of my life by my big sister who lives up here. So every time I was up here, I was with my sister because my pops wasn't, he was locked up. So, he still made sure I was with my siblings and stuff that was up here. So I was born in Kansas City, but always travel here to see my siblings, to be around my family on this side too.
Do you get to go back home? I mean, I know that you're
I'm in there all the time.
Oh, okay.
Literally, it feels like every other week. I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, did I even move away? Like, I've been there, I think, 3 times in the last month, 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because you feel homesick, or is it just because you need to go back
I mean,
home?
I got, my family is there, but usually I've been working. I work there too. I did theater at every theater around Kansas City, and a lot of the artists there, they still tap me to do stuff. I just was there for a reading recently of a new play. Which is a beautiful play. But I was there for a stage reading that they flew me in to do. And so, I go back and work whenever I can. This year, a lot, I was there for funerals and stuff. So, You know.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's been a tough 3 years at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of like going to funerals and
Yeah, it is.
just having to deal with grief. So on a lighter note, I know that you said that you did undergrad in Kansas and
In Missouri.
In Missouri, excuse me about
Yeah,
that.
we don't do that Kansas stuff.
So I love Dorothy. So if I could say Kansas,
See, it's funny because everybody on the East Coast, when you tell them you're from Kansas City,
that's all I think about.
they be like, "Oh, you from Kansas," and we take that as a sign of disrespect. We like, nah, we from Missouri, because Kansas is right there on the other side. You know?
All right. Rep your hood.
You
I
know.
understand.
Yeah,
I understand. Because if somebody was to tell me that I was from Queens and I'm from Brooklyn, I would be very upset. So I get it.
Kansas City, Kansas is different. It's way different than Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, what's so different about it?
There's nothing there. So when
when y'all tell me that, I feel like there's nothing there, period.
So like, not Kansas City, Missouri, we got the Chiefs, we got the Royals,
Okay.
you know, so we have the sports teams, we have the downtown area, we have pretty much everything. It's all in Kansas City. Kansas City, Kansas, they got a mall. A soccer team. They got the soccer team.
They got the soccer team and a mall. Listen,
Yeah,
it's
so,
better than nothing. Have you ever been to New Bern, North Carolina?
I have
Probably
not.
never even heard of it. So therefore, at least they got the mall and
And a soccer team. Yeah.
Okay. So, but before we went on the fight about whose hood is the best. So you did undergrad. What'd you do in undergrad?
I went to school for acting for undergrad
acting.
too. Yeah, I got my BA.
And then you did your master's.
Mm-hmm.
So was it always, I'm going to be an actor, no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes, this is just what it's going to be for me?
No, I didn't start acting until I went to college for it.
Really?
Yeah.
So what'd you do before that? What did you want to be before that?
I was doing music. I was a rapper.
So you're in, you the triple threat? Let me find out.
I mean,
You the triple threat? So, because I know you do some other stuff too,
mm-hmm.
right? Because I've been stalking you. No, I shouldn't say that. I've been researching in preparation for this interview. You know what? I'm going to give everybody a little backstory. So, I knew that Petey was going to be on the show prior to, I guess, everyone else, because I don't know if he remembers, but I DM'd him a very long time ago and said, hey, I got this little show that I do where I interview actors and I talk about all of the shows within the Powerverse. And I asked him from months ago to be on this show. And he probably must have been like, how does she even know what I'm going to do? How is it going to be? She don't even know if I'm going to die the first episode. But I got the inside scoop. So, but I knew that he was going to be someone that we should be looking out for because I saw other things that he did. And not only is he an actor, but he's a rapper and he is impeccably dressed. He has an exclusive sense of style. I saw that he was about his sneaker game. So I was like, oh, and then I was like, is he from here? So I had to even double check and be like, where you from? Like, let me make sure. Yeah. But I found out that, and he checked me. He was like, I'm not from your little city, girl. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. But I say all of that to say thank you for coming on and doing the show. But I do want you to talk about your background. So, like, what did you rap about? Are you still rapping? Are you doing other things besides rap and acting?
Yes, for sure. Music was my first love, for real. Well, I guess not even music, really, like lyrics, words. I started off as a poet. I went to a performing arts school, and I was a creative writing major. So I started off writing short stories. Right, I used to like writing essays back in the day. Now you couldn't get me to write an essay.
What happened when you got to write scripts? You better start writing them essays.
I've been talking to my team about that when it comes to writing scripts, even now. But like, yeah, I started off as a writer. Started doing music. I got like really into like battle rap culture. So all through high school, I battle rapped. I used to battle rap at the lunch table. Champ. I was always the champ.
Who's your favorite battle rapper?
My favorite battle rapper currently, or just like?
You can give me two.
I really like Charlie Clips.
Aww.
Charlie Clips is one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites. Back in the day, though, when I first was listening to battle rap, it was Reed Dollaz.
Oh, okay.
That's who I first was like. I'm like, oh, this is the guy. Like,
yeah. Okay. What's your favorite? Okay. So you like? Let me see. Remember what battle was this? Was it Loaded Lux? There's a specific battle that I'm thinking of with Charlie Clips. But whatever the case is, what was your favorite? What was your favorite battle? Or do you like? Is it UFC?
One of my favorite battles. Let me see. What was the one that me and my brother used to always watch on repeat? We used to watch a lot of Serious Jones back in the day.
Oh yeah. I did too, but then that whole Math Hoffa situation happened.
Yeah, buddy. And then he fell off.
And then it was over from there on out.
But he was my guy back in the day.
Uh-huh.
I used to watch all his battles. Well, I'm trying to think of what's the battle. What's the dude name? I think he died. He from Detroit.
Two died recently.
It was that Loaded Lux battle.
That's what there's a specific Loaded Lux battle that I'm trying to remember right now, and I cannot remember.
It's the one where he like fastest way to Harlem is the A Train. What is the I can't remember the dude name that he battling.
Hold on, I'll Google it while we're doing this. Yeah. But okay, so you love lyrics.
Yeah, so I came up doing that in school, and then I kind of started taking it serious. My big cousin became basically like a manager for me in music because he was doing music as well. Mm-hmm. My big cousin took both of my big cousins, right here with me. She just passed this year, earlier this year. But yeah, she was like, she put all of her money into me, her and her husband, and was like, yo, we supporting your career. And then I got a little buzz, big buzz in the city. I kind of, in 2007, 2008, like I was everywhere performing. I was taking over the city doing my music. And that was what I wanted to do for a long time. That was the end goal for me. I just wanted to keep going in the music industry, get bigger. I wrote a lot, was doing some ghostwriting. And then
boom.
I cannot say.
You signed an NDA?
Not really, but people don't like you to know when you writing.
All right, when we stop the camera, you can tell me.
When you writing music for them.
When we stop the camera, you can tell me.
It's funny. It's funny. I was just doing another podcast where the dude was like, "All right, I got to cut out who you said you was writing for." I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool," because I was just talking and just letting it fly.
Just letting it fly. All right.
But nah. So I did music, and what stopped me doing music is when my mom passed. My mom passed, and then it kind of like music stopped being fun for me. It started feeling like a business. I was doing it because I loved it at first, and then it started feeling like nobody cared that I was like going through stuff, and everybody was just like, yeah, you still got albums to drop, you still got tours to do, you still got performances. Like my mom died, and 2 days later I did an in-store album signing. And it was a great experience. It was packed out. It's this place called Seventh Heaven in Kansas City. And it was lying around the corner, cars blocking all down the street. And I was like, wow, all these people coming to get their album, signed by me. But at the same time, I couldn't fully enjoy the moment because I was like, man, my mom died 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. So,
did they know that your mom had passed? Maybe they were there to support you as well.
Yeah, I guess that's part of it. At the time, I couldn't see that. Yeah. It was that like everybody was like, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep going. And I kind of just needed some time to just be, and I didn't have that time. So when I finally did get it, I broke down. Like I stopped doing music. I stopped doing anything. I kind of disappeared for like a year, maybe a little longer. Everybody hated me. My family, I was fighting with all of them all the time for no reason. And then, one day I just literally decided like, my mom wouldn't want me to be like this. She wouldn't want me to be sitting in this. Like, my mom's favorite thing to do was brag about me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to go to college, give my mom something to brag about. So when I first went to school for acting, I didn't even know that's what I was going to school for. I walked up to University of Missouri, Kansas City, and I walked into the admissions office and flipped through the book and was like, what's going to be easy? I just wanted the piece of paper. I didn't even want to, like, actually go to school for anything. I'm like, I just need this degree so I could say, Mom, I did it. And I'm flipping through, and my big brother, who's an actor, who was always like somebody I looked up to, my big brother up here, who lives up here. Right. I'm like, my brother's an actor. A lot of my friends, people I knew, I was like, if they could do it, I could do it. Like, this should be easy. So I enrolled, and I enrolled for acting.
Well, at least you didn't take the Young Miami route. But so you did. You don't gotta say nothing.
Cause yeah, I ain't even gonna say nothing.
I say nothing. You went to school for it.
Yeah, I went to school for it. But I had always been in that world. Like I said, I was in a performing arts school. I had done little plays before. I grew up in church doing plays, stuff like that. So yeah, I planned on being in the background, but what happened is I had this professor who was like, um, yeah, that's not gonna fly. He was like, if you're gonna be in this department, you're gonna have to audition for plays.
You need to lock in. You
And I
gotta
was
take
like,
this
I didn't really.
seriously.
I'm like, I didn't come to really be in plays. I just was gonna chill in the background. Put me in all black. I can. He was like, but you're an acting major. He's like, your emphasis is in acting. So why did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I just thought it, be easy, be an actor. And he made me audition for a play. Fell in love with it. I haven't looked back since. Sorry, I'm kind of nasally,
It's okay.
stuffy.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have a deviated septum, so that's why I always sound nasally. But
But yeah, so I did this play by Bertolt Brecht. It's an old German play, and fell in love with acting. From that day on, I remember it was one performance I was crying on stage by the end of it. It was our last performance. I had been doing this show for 3 weeks. Didn't know what was going on. I just was saying lines. That last performance, I was like, oh, I'm really
I'm
hearing
tuned
what
in.
I'm saying. Like now I know what I'm saying, and by the end of it, I'm like bawling. And I'm like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Aw. So did you when you started crying? Was it a realization of this is what I want to do? This is me being connected to the character, or this is everything coming
Nah,
full
let me
circle?
tell you exactly what it was, because it wasn't even none of that.
Okay.
So I was in an argument with my baby mother at the time on the day of that last performance. And I left. I was stressed out. I stormed out, walking. I had 2 cars sitting in the driveway, still walked on my way to the theater. I get to the theater. I'm already like, I got all these emotions and stuff. And I do this monologue that's like 3 minutes long, which is a long time for one person to be
talk.
talking.
Yeah, whole soliloquy.
Yeah. So, and it's in the very beginning of the play. So I get there, I try to like get in my zone and stuff, and I go and I say this monologue, and I start hearing the monologue because I was already like high off of my emotions, and for some reason it like made me lock in because what I was saying in the monologue was like correlating to what I was kind of going through at the time. And this monologue, it's a monologue from Big Love. It was a cabaret part in this play that we do. It's a play by Chuck Mee called Big Love. And this monologue was talking about what it is to be a man in this society. And it was like, people want you to be hard. It was just a man. Okay. But it's just like people want you to be hard, but then when you be hard, people look at you a certain way, and a women, like it's just all this stuff. And I was like, wow. And as I'm saying it, I was feeling it. I like became this, and I was like, ooh.
Do you remember any of it? Any parts
of the monologue? I should, because I did it again in grad school too, and I don't. The beginning of it starts off as people think it's easy being a woman, but it isn't easy being a man. Something about bursting through bonds. I could summarize it, but but the lines I can't necessarily remember. But it was that. It was about the roughness of a man, how you have to be rough to be a man, but because of that roughness, the world treats you a certain way, because you have to be rough. So it's like this double-edged sword, and it was just it was wild. And I look into the audience, and I'm saying this, and it just became like it was like the room just changed, and I get off stage, and when you're an actor on stage, you can feel when the audience is feeling something with you, when when they're connected to what you're doing. And it was like everything was like this, it was like all connected by like a thread, like I could feel their energy. And I got off stage, and like I just was like, I want this feeling all the time, and I want to give this feeling to other people. Like I want other people to be able to work out their stuff, like. And I was told when I was acting in undergrad by one of my professors that, as an actor, your job is to take a burden off somebody. When they come into this theater, you're taking a burden off. You might be giving them another one, if you're doing something heavy. But also, if you're doing something comedic, right, you can give these people something to laugh at, something to take their troubles away just for that time that they're sitting here in this theater, And, I was always told that you become an actor because you're not used up enough in life, so you using that on stage. I'm originally a stage actor. I just started doing the TV and film, so like stage is where I thrive. It's what I love. I'm hoping to get back to it really soon.
How did you end up auditioning for Ghosts? Considering you've always been on the stage, then what made you transition?
COVID for one.
Okay, yeah,
There
that.
wasn't a lot of live theater
Nope,
happening.
it wasn't
Uh,
that.
but what happened is, when COVID hit, I was in London, doing Shakespeare at the Globe, and we had to come back to the States, and I wanted to be doing theater, but there was no theater at first, so I kind of took a year off. I didn't take a year off. I immediately started being like, well, what else can I do? And I was in Kansas City. I was stuck home for like 10 months when COVID happened, and I hated it.
I can imagine.
I hated it at first, but then
Uh-huh.
I got to work. I got to work real fast, and started like producing my own shorts, with the help of my brother Suli. We started producing our own short films. I had just right before that, did a film with Morgan Cooper.
Okay.
We did the You Shoot videos where we won Tribeca Film Festival with and stuff. So like I was getting buzz off of that, and I was like, well, I gotta start making my own content now because I can't be on stage. So
You can't be dependent on it.
I can't be dependent on it, and I got to make something happen. And I thank God that Sully pushed me too, because he was like, "Bro, you can't sit around. What you waiting on?" So we started producing films, started directing films, directing my own shorts and stuff, and I still was doing it. I was having fun with it. I was loving what I was doing. I was having a good time, and I was still getting to do the work. And then by the time we came back, because we took time off from school, from Rutgers and stuff because of COVID, and we came back, and it was showcase season. So when you're in a program, a grad program, or any program worth the salt, is gonna have a showcase at the end. So that's when you perform for agents and managers in the industry. And we did our showcase. We came back for like a semester just to do showcase. And after showcase, because I had been doing all this work,
What year was this? I'm sorry.
This was just 2021.
Okay.
2021.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just.
Yeah. I'm just getting started with all this. So like showcase, we had showcase, and man, that was one of the craziest moments of my life too. Like, I'm being in this company full of actors, and we're all we want the best for each other. We want the best for ourselves, and we all are so stressed out because we like, this is it. We did the last 4 years to make it to this point where the agents and managers see us. And man, my response was crazy. Like, it felt like NBA draft.
Really?
I'm not even lying. It felt like NBA draft. I probably met with 100 agents and managers and companies. I was meeting with Netflix and HBO and all these people, and all these managers and agents hitting me up. I'm taking meetings. Like, every day I was taking like 4 or 5 meetings with these people on Zoom, just trying to sign me. And very early on, I found my manager. I got to shout out my manager, Marnie. She is the best in the game. Very early on in Showcase, we had 2 showings. The first one, she called me, and she basically was like, "You're a superstar." She was like, she's like, "Well, you were in more scenes than anybody else in your company." She was like, "Is that because they know how good you are?" And I just laughed. I'm like, "Yo, you crazy?" I'm like, but and she's like, "No."
You being humble.
Yeah,
You
she like,
crazy.
but she was like, I want you. She was like, if these other people don't call you, they don't want you bad enough. And she was like, I'm calling you. And she was the only person that like called me on the phone. Everybody else was sending emails and stuff.
Yeah.
She called me straight up. And I knew from the very beginning that I wanted her to be my manager. But of course, my professors and everything was like, you got to meet with everybody. You got to talk to everybody. You got to go through. So like, I didn't end up even working with her until like maybe a couple months later, because I was waiting just to go through the process. But I already knew, like, I'm like, that's who I want. And my professors were like, no, you got to be sure. You can't just sign to her now. I was like, but I want to now.
But she did the right thing, right? Because I feel like a lot of things get lost in translation when you are just on a computer screen, or when it's just virtual, or you're not really connecting with the person, which is why I prefer to do in-person interviews and not virtual, because the vibe is not there. Like, the vibe is off. And what she did was, she says, you know what, I'm going to make sure he gets the vibe. I'm going to call him. I'm going to make sure he knows that I'm interested. And of all the people that he's going to interact with, he's going to remember me the most, because I'm going to make sure to connect with him. And she did the right thing. The only other thing she could have possibly have done was, fly out to see you. But at that time, we couldn't, because of how delicate the situation was.
Right.
How probably rampant COVID was at the time.
Yep.
But she took the best approach, because this way now she gains your trust.
100%. And I love her to death. She fights for me, always does.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, she always comes through. And then I was meeting with a bunch of agents and stuff, and what happened is I signed with Marnie before I was even supposed to, because
Well,
I got
why do you
tired
say
of
that?
waiting. Because my professors and stuff were still like, well, you have more meetings, you gotta. So I told Marnie, I was like, yo, we can start working right now. I was like, I ain't even gonna tell my professors and stuff yet, but I'm like, let's start working.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes time, I'll just tell them like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go with Marnie. I was like, but because I already know I am, let's just get working now. And so
Okay.
we did. Um, and we canceled. She like was like, give me your schedule. Give me all your schedule of all the meetings that you have to take. She created a whole sheet for me, a printout. You know, she was like, send me all your footage. I sent her all the footage of the films I did. She created a reel for me. Like she was really looking out for me. And we took meetings together. She canceled all my meetings that I had and set up new meetings. And we met with agencies. And we met with them together, which was an amazing experience to have my manager there supporting me while I'm meeting with these bigger agencies, you know. And we signed to Innovative. We went with Innovative because after we had that meeting, we both got off and was like, I feel really good about this one, you know.
And that's how the stars came.
Yeah, once we signed to Innovative, I started doing auditioning like crazy.
Okay.
Before I got Power, I probably did 100 auditions.
So did you? So before Power, you did 100 auditions, but then when you started, when you did when you auditioned for Power, did you specifically audition for the character that you have now, or did you audition
I
for?
auditioned for Salim. And what happened was with Power, like because I was doing so many auditions at the time, because I was the hot thing. I had just got out. Everybody was hitting me up. Every black person on any TV show, I probably auditioned for him. If it's a black dude on the show,
Name
I
some for
probably
us.
auditioned for that. Like everything I watch now, I'm like, oh, I remember these lines.
Wait, did you? Okay, so let's see. Let's do some shows. Did you audition for Snowfall?
No, Snowfall is actually no, that was Snowfall. That was the only one that I didn't.
Okay. Let me think of another one. Because we're a little in between. So let's see. Anything on TV One? BET?
Pretty much everything on BET.
Pretty much everything on BET.
Tulsa King, I auditioned for that. Issa Rae's joint, I auditioned for that.
Which one for
rap shit?
Really?
Couple auditions for that. Just one recently too that I was.
Did you get it?
Uh,
Can you say?
I don't know yet.
Oh, I'll be looking for you.
I think it was the first audition that I did. When I first came out, when the agents and managers, you know, when they try to recruit you, they recruit you with auditions. They like, come work with me. I can get you auditions. Here, I'm gonna send you one. And like 3 different people sent me an audition for rap shit. And so even when I start working with Marnie, I'm like, should I send this audition through you? Or like, I'm like, because I got it from like 3 different places. But yeah, it was the first audition that I ever did. But yeah, so I was auditioning for everything. And then by the time I got to Power, I had already did a bunch of auditions. And you audition so much where you start like, you just kind of get into a rhythm and the auditions stop becoming as precious.
Oh, okay.
And which is a good thing. You want them to be like that. You want to not, like every audition can't be like the most important thing in the world because that's when you overthinking. That's when you're not doing your best work because you're like, I really got to book this. I really want this.
Okay.
And the work is not natural. It's not flowing. So I had got to that point where I'm like, oh, okay, another audition. I'm just doing my work. I'm having fun. I start doing every audition like I'm not going to book it because when you're doing it that way, that's when the magic happens. You know, when I don't care about booking this show, when I don't care about getting on it, because I'm like, I'm going to work on my own projects regardless. So I'm going to just keep knocking these auditions out. And so I knocked it out like with a bunch of other ones, kind of forgot I did it. And then like over a month, almost 2 months later, I was coming from Kansas City on a plane and Marnie called me and she's like, she texted me first and was like, I have some news. Do you want some news?
Yes.
I'm like, you can't say some news. That could be good or bad. I'm on the plane and I'm like, yes. And she's like, all right, I'm going to call you in 20. I'm like, all right. Okay. I get off the plane. I'm walking through the airport. And she calls me. She's like, remember you auditioned for Power a couple months ago? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you got it. I'm in the middle of the airport. I start yelling. I'm like, yo! What? In the middle of the airport. And then, it was that's when I found out. It was a couple months later. I didn't do no callback. They just called me and was like, yeah, you got the...
Did you watch the first iteration of Power when
I was a big Power fan. That's why it was so crazy to me to be on the show. It's like my favorite show on TV.
Oh,
I watched it from the beginning. I know all the episodes, all the characters, and like it was so surreal. Like
I'm so glad you just said that.
Yeah.
Because I have a little game for us.
Okay.
Today. So I'm glad that you were a fan of the original Power. And My thing is that Ghost was a sociopath, and so now I have some questions for you about who do you pick. So it's gonna be like this or that, right? So if you want to explain why, you can, but you don't have to. So were you Team Tasha or Team Angie?
Team Angie.
Cut the interview. I'm serious.
I knew it.
Cut the interview. Marnie, you have just I don't know where you found this guy at. Why were you Team Angie?
Because I thought you said I didn't have to explain.
Well, now you got to. Why were you Team Angie? Because I'm going to give you a whole bunch of reasons why you shouldn't have been.
I get them all the time.
Well, tell me why you were, so that I can give you a couple more of why you shouldn't have been. Now I'm up.
I loved the relationship between Ghost and Angie. Like, the love just felt like this raw, real, like, love. And because of the way he loved her, like, I was like, yeah, I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm like, it was just something that it pulled him towards her even when he knew he shouldn't. I'm like, that dude loved that woman. And I just loved how he loved her. That was the main reason. I'm like, yo, I like they just vibed together. Don't get me wrong. I love Tasha. I thought Tasha was a boss character. I just was like, for Ghost, like, man, be with who you love. Be with who you want to be with. I mean, he did it in a way that he shouldn't have, but I think he should have just been with.
So long as you say that, I'm gonna let you slide, because I was about to like.
Yeah, he definitely did the wrong thing. He was not doing what he was supposed to be doing. But
they nearly killed. What's the baby name? Yaz. They nearly killed Yaz because of the stupid dolphin that fell in the baby crib. So from that, I couldn't stand her. From that, even though it's Ghost, it's his fault why that fell in the crib. But he should not have been out with her, and he has to have more self-control. And instead of just running and gallivanting around town with some woman that he didn't even know what she did for a living. So we'll circle back. Okay. So we said Tasha or Angie, and you went with Angie, which is crazy, but she dead. So
yeah, all right. She is dead.
All right. Now, Ghost or Kanan?
Rest in peace.
She don't get no rest in peace from me.
Kanan.
Why?
Because it's 50 for one. Like,
it's not 50. Like, it's Kanan. It's not. He played him.
You're right. It felt like 50 though.
I can understand that.
All right, Kanan, because Kanan just felt familiar to me. From how I grew up, people I knew. Kanan felt like somebody that I knew that was right. One of my OGs when I was coming up. Kanan felt like that, and he felt more real to me. Ghost is a dope character, but Ghost felt like something that was out of reach for me, at least. Like, I don't know nobody like Ghost. Yeah. I know plenty of people.
He was
like
out
Kanan.
of reach for everyone around him too, right?
Yeah,
that was
for sure.
That was the problem.
Yeah, he ended up being like running for getting into politics and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah.
But it's not even just that, right? So like his ambition was one thing, but his ambition was what made him isolate himself from everyone else. Mm-hmm. Everything with Ghost is completely centered on himself. So
it started really coming out in that last season too. You start seeing it strong.
Yeah, he was gonna sell his kid up the river, which is why I was like, oh no, he gotta die.
I think they made him a monster in that last season.
He was already a monster.
And that's what everybody says is like they was just like
he killed someone with his listen. Ghost was a horrible person. Amari Hardwick made that show bop. You hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay, but Ghost is a monster. He's a sociopath. He was crazy, and a lot of people gave those characteristics or those attributes to Tommy because Tommy was off the deep end. He was using drugs. He was erratic, right? And we think of Ghost as poised.
He strangled his baby mama though with his bare hands
because Tommy was too loyal.
That is.
He was too loyal. Right? A lot. Yep. And I remember it. So shout out to Power is Fire. Him and I argue about this stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. But Tommy was loyal to a fault. Right? Even when Ghost got him arrested. Didn't even tell him what the play was. Just let him walk in. Had him ambushed, everything. And he still was loyal to him. After all of the stuff that Ghost did to him, he still was there.
Up until the very end.
Up until the very end. He almost shot Tariq.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Up until the very end.
If Ghost didn't pull him back and say, no, let him go. So that we can get Power Book 2.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I got a couple more, and then we'll move on from this. But so Ghost or Tasha? Do you feel like Tasha was right in?
For sure. Yes, Tasha.
At least you said that, because Jesus, I don't know.
Wait, Ghost. Let me change it. No, just kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, Proctor or McLean?
Davis McLean.
Aw. Blanca or Sax?
Sax.
Okay, so this is a 3-way. Sax?
Yes.
All right.
I love Sax.
Do you like the actor who plays him, or do you like Sax? Because Sax
Both.
is kind of trash.
I think Shane does so well with that character. Like, to be hated that much,
but still kind of lovable at the same time. Yeah.
Because like I hate it. Out of all the characters, he's the one I went through so many emotions
Me
with.
too.
I'm like, this dude, man, come on, man. Like, there was times where I was like, man, he gotta die. And then there was times where I was like, nah, don't kill Sax.
I know.
Come on,
when they went to kill him, I was like, no, don't kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't kill him. Okay, and then so this is a 3-way: Diana, Effie, or Lauren.
Diana.
Did you scream when you found out she was alive? No, not
when
alive.
I found
Lauren.
out Lauren was alive.
Like when you read, because do you read that part? I don't know. Do they only give you your lines, or do you read the entire?
We go through the whole script.
Okay.
We do a table read.
But that happens at the
episode.
end, right? Because do you read the whole script by yourself?
No, we do a table read with the whole cast.
Really?
Yeah.
Before you read it yourself?
No, they send the scripts out before,
Yeah.
and then
So
before we
that's what I
start
meant.
filming,
Like,
we.
Yeah. So when you read the script, right? Did you see that, or did it only come out when you went to the table read?
Went to the table read is when I found out. Yeah.
And then you went,
I kind of already.
because she was sitting there.
I kind of knew.
Kind of knew.
Yeah.
Kind of knew. Okay, all right. Kane or Drew?
Kane.
I feel you there. Noma or Mecca?
Noma.
She's bout it. She chopped somebody's hand off.
Noma.
First 30 seconds of us knowing her, she chopped somebody's hand off. Once I saw her, I was like, there's no reason why I would ever keep that ring. I just would have been like, miss, you can take this.
Here,
I'm
it's
not
yours.
sure what he was thinking when he tried
It's
to
yours.
take your ring, but it's yours. You can have it back. Once I would have saw her face, I'm like, no, it's not mine anymore. Okay, Milan or Jason?
Milan.
Yeah, he was pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy or Braden?
Tommy.
You about to reignite the feud after you start that. And now, Ghost or BMF?
Ghost. Come on. Ghost.
Did you even watch BMF?
Yeah, I've been watching.
No, you weren't.
I've been watching it.
Yeah, all right. What was your favorite episode?
Of this season?
He ain't watch it. He lying, y'all.
You mean of this
He
recent
ain't real,
season?
y'all. He ain't real.
My favorite episode is the one that I just saw.
Which one was that?
Where they had the club shootout, and Buddy just died.
With the guy that died. Yeah, dang. I wish they didn't get rid of that character.
That scene, the scene after that, where Meech came up to the hotel room or to his penthouse or whatever to tell his wife that he was dead. That was a scene. It was. That was
what happened in that scene?
That was my favorite.
That was your favorite scene. So I have a question, right? That's what we're here for. As an actor, someone who went to grad school, and is on tons of auditions, does it, and this is nothing towards her, because we all know what I'm talking about, but do you feel a way when people come into your line of work, your profession, and they don't take it as seriously as you do?
I used to.
Okay.
I don't take it personal anymore. It's the nature of the business. I used to always, have that feeling of like, you could pick anybody off the street and they could just come in here and doing it. And these are the people who making a bunch of money doing it, And that used to make me mad. And then I started really thinking about why that makes me mad. And that's a me thing. It ain't got nothing to do with them, you know. And I realized that, like, I can't base my success off of anybody else's. You know, I'm looking at them in comparison to myself. Is the only reason I would ever have a problem with what they doing. But if I'm focused on what they doing, I can't be focused on what I'm doing. You know, so once I learned that, I was like, yo, shout out to everybody that's doing their thing. Like, it's hard trying to get it out here in this industry, in this world. So, like, if you make it happen, if you get on one of these shows, no matter what your background, good for you. I'm clapping for you. You know, especially out here as a black actor. So, you know, if you could find work, I'm happy for you. Get working, keep working. You know what I mean?
Get working, keep working. Okay, so I do have a question about something that happened in one of your scenes on the show. And maybe I need a little bit more background about Salim. Like, how old is Salim? Tell us who Salim is, because I don't know why Salim was at Zeke's funeral. Like, I know why, because he wanted Diana, because he was being thirsty, but why was he there? Did he even know Zeke?
No. He knows of Zeke, though.
Okay.
You know, Zeke was a star basketball player. So everybody at the school knows Zeke. And so the scene that you're seeing, it wasn't Zeke's funeral. It was just a memorial for him. And what it is it's something that Diana put together. She put together that whole memorial at the school for everybody to come to. So it wasn't really like a funeral. So pretty much everybody that went to the school was at this thing.
Oh, okay. And they had some outside people, or just his immediate family.
Right.
Or that he just learned about. Okay, right. So, alrighty.
Yes.
So, what else about Salim? So, Salim is the teaching assistant, and we can kind of intimate that he has a crush on Diana. And is he getting ready to graduate? Is he gonna possibly be there a little bit longer?
He's in process. He's finding his way. He's let me see. How do I say this?
Please, because you know what I'm trying to get at.
He sticks around for a lot of things. He has a bright future ahead of him.
There we go.
Maybe. Salim, you definitely learn more about Salim, is what I could tell you.
Okay. So we'll see more of him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, throughout this season, you're going to see more of Salim. You'll learn a lot more about him. There's not much I could say before it comes out.
Okay, what about if we saw it in the trailer? Can you confirm or deny? Like, if I say, "Oh, that's Petey," that's the side of his face.
Yeah.
Can you confirm?
I think I know.
So
what you're talking
that's
about.
you and Diana in the trailer. I know the side of your face now because I'm seeing it. I can see it. Like, especially if I look through the mic, I can.
That's possibly me, or
how you gonna say possibly?
Or maybe somebody who looks like Salim.
Okay, all right.
It could be Salim. It could be
who?
A doppelganger that looks a lot like Salim.
I mean,
what's funny?
Was it your body double?
They got body doubles.
Do they? Don't when they do those scenes they have?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Nobody doubles.
Okay, what were you about to say? Because I feel like you was going to say something.
No, I was going to say it's funny that when that trailer came out, a lot of my family hit me up and was like, "Hey, I know the back of your head anywhere."
See? And I just bet you, 10 minutes now? It's just been, like a little bit under an hour. And I was like, oh, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
That's him. I can kind of see it. Okay. So then Salim is going to stick around. Thank goodness. That's one less thing to worry about. And then he's still...
For now, you never know with power. You know, anybody can get it at any time.
That's true.
So.
I mean, I have my predictions. So who? Okay, you can't say who is gonna die. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And what I will ask you is, who do you want to make it to the end? So, like, if we have to choose between Brayden and Tariq, like, who do you want to come out victorious when all of the show is finished and done? Who do you want to make it to the end?
Drew. I want Drew to make it to the end.
Me too. I don't think he will. You can't say anything, but I don't know if he's gonna make it.
Uh, I want Drew to for sure make it to the end. I want man, I want Tariq to make it to the end. I want to see how his story unfolds, and I want to see if he ever changes his tune or if he tries to get on the same type of stuff that his pops was on. Like, I want to see where that goes. You know, I want to see if he does really become Well, he already is becoming Ghost, but you know, I want to see how far that goes of him becoming his father. I'd like to see that. I really want to see Brayden. I just was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, man, Brayden ain't caught nobody yet. You know, we was watching the episode. I'm like, he was supposed to catch that body, and then he got scared. I'm like, he ain't Tommy yet. Everybody keep comparing him to Tommy.
But
I'm like,
just because he's white, he not Tommy, y'all. God.
That's true.
Just because he's white, he's not Tommy. Because nobody is Tommy.
That's true.
Nobody is Tommy.
That's true.
So,
but I want to see what Brayden do. I want to see how deep Brayden get into it. You know.
So like I have the opposite. I don't want. So you see, Tariq is going deeper, and I kind of want him to pull back.
Yeah.
And I always look to see if Tamika is gonna be there because she's always the person that like jumps in and kind of like brings him up a little. Like, hey, you going down too deep. Like, come back up. You got to bring your head back above water because once he starts to like drift further and further into the criminal world, he always needs someone to center him back to the person that he's really trying to be, right? Like, I think one of the things that separates Tariq from Ghost or Tariq from Jamie or James is that he's not selfish. Because what we were saying earlier was that the problem with Ghost was that everything is centered around his ambition and how things are going to affect him. You're going to affect my gubernatorial race or my lieutenant governor race, you got to go to jail. You're going to affect my love for my side chick, you got to go. And I'm going to kill your daycare. I'm not going to give you any money. When I die, I'm going to disinherit you, which is illegal in New York, by the way, guys. You cannot disinherit your wife. And they were never divorced. So I hope Stars gets researchers on that. But he did so many terrible things, whereas I feel like Tariq is always just the way how Ghost was trying to fix things for him to get out. I feel like Tariq is always trying to fix things for everyone else around him.
That's true.
Whereas he wanted to help his mom. He didn't really want to take Yaz away from his grandmother. He didn't want her to fall into a world of alcoholism. But, you know, in order to help her, he has to get her the right help, albeit through court. But he needed his sister, and he has to take care of her because his grandmother couldn't handle that. She already raised her kids. You know those things. I already raised my kids. I can't raise no little, and she's an older woman.
Right.
So I feel sorry for him that they're pushing, because it's like that thing. Every time I try to get out, they keep pulling me back in, and he can never get it right.
Yeah.
And that, granted, that's something that happened with Ghost too, but him, like, I honestly feel sorry for him, but he brought it on himself.
Right.
Because he wanted to be like his dad, and now that he sees what it is, he's like, okay, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
So I feel you saying, like, I want to see, like, how he develops.
Yeah.
How he's gonna,
how he switches it up, or you know, or if he becomes just like his father, because, like, you know, how was Ghost when he was younger? You know,
and
was
we don't know anything about him.
Yeah, I'm hoping that if Raising Kanan keep going, that we see young Ghost and young Tommy in there, and we start learning about how Ghost was when he was young. That'd be dope. That would be super dope.
I know you may have a little bit of bias about this because you're on Ghost, but what's your favorite one of the Power spinoffs? So there's Force, there is Ghost, obviously, and then there's Raising Kanan.
Ghost, of course.
Yeah?
Raising Kanan's a close second, though.
Yeah, Raising Kanan is a beast.
I love Raising Kanan.
Patina Miller?
You took the words out of my mouth. Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Okay.
Patina Miller, I just...
Amazing.
Like, I know there are things that we're not supposed to do, but, like, how is she not nominated for every award?
I feel
Especially after that scene with her and Lou, or the Malcolm Mays, the guy who plays
Lulu. Yep.
Oh my gosh. When she grabbed his face and was like, "You need me!" And I was like, like, I screamed. Like, I was like, yo, there's no way she doesn't win every award.
She be doing some acting. Let me tell you.
Have you met her?
No, I've never. I haven't got a chance to meet Patina when I was supposed to, when we all went to see
Did you go Into the Woods?
Yeah,
oh my God.
go.
Even Into the Woods.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She's a force.
Oh man. So, okay, my last question, because I know that we got to get out of here. It's Women's History Month, and I love how you pay homage to your mom earlier, and you try to make her proud with everything that you do. What's some of the best advice you ever got from your
Mm, uh, the best advice that I've got from my mom. It's crazy. I got a book full of things that my mom used to say that I haven't looked at in a long time, or it's in one of my notebooks. Um, my mom used to always. My mom's main thing for me was to always be me, to be the best version of me, and don't ever try to be anybody else, because who I am is special, and who I am is enough. So like that always kind of stick with me. Uh, throughout a lot of the lessons that my mom like taught me without trying to teach me. Because my mom she was a strange lady.
mom? Why you say that?
She was very funny. My mom was like one of the funniest people I knew, and she didn't hold anything back. Like my mom, never, she would tell you exactly how she's feeling all the time, whatever was on her brain, no filter. Like, oh look, you laughing? Everybody know. She did not play around, so a lot of her lessons came like that. I'd be doing something and then she'd just snap right off, and I'm like, a lot of times I'm like, man, what she said is actually kind of profound. She just, she didn't have to hit me with a shoe across the room when she said it.
She had an aim too. So not only was she funny, she had a strong arm.
Yes. But my mom taught me so many things. My mom, the main thing that she taught me wasn't even something she necessarily said to me, but she showed me how to fight through adversity. I went through everything with my mom's. We went through hell and high water, just coming up in a rough part of town, and her just with me, trying to figure it out, jumping around when we had to, she always made sure that, I was good. And she taught me how to fight through, when times get rough, like it's something on the other side, so like, don't ever stay down. My mama never stayed down,
Is that where First Fight comes from?
Yeah, First Fight Films. That's our film company is based on pretty much that principle, is that we will always gonna fight, and we gonna have the first fight, and we keep fighting. You can't keep us down, First Fight Films, though, is, yes, my production company. I started with a couple of my guys who I graduated from Rutgers with.
How many of you are there? I saw a lot of names.
6 of us. Yeah, 6 of us. It's 5 of us that all came out of Rutgers, out of the program together. They were all in my acting company. And then my cousin Bill, who moved up here from Kansas City, Missouri, he's part of the production company with us. And yeah, it was something we had talked about doing for a long time. And then, now we've been in a slower season. A lot of them, they're not working like I am. So they itching and they ready. And I've been telling them for a long time, like, yo, a couple years ago, I bought thousands of dollars worth of equipment that I don't use. And I'm like, we need to start using it. We need to start getting it in and making our own things. And so we started, and I mean, we still ain't using that program because now we kind of elevating and we getting people with better equipment and stuff, coming through. But, we working.
So Close-Minded, was that done by First Fight?
Yeah, it was in the very early stages when we were forming First Fight. It was me and my homeboy Maxime, who was always my right hand. I'm surprised he's not here with me today because he's always right by me. But Maxime, who's from Paris, France, but we we came up in the same acting program together.
Okay.
And
At Rutgers?
Yeah, at Rutgers. And we vibe a lot with everything that we're creating. We kind of have a same, we on the same wavelength a lot, so it's easy to create with Maxime. So the way that this First Fight thing even kind of started was mainly with me and him being like, bro, let's do it. Let's just make stuff. And then we got the rest of our guys together. But yeah, me and him kind of spearheaded the Close-Minded thing when we were kind of thinking that let's start the First Fight thing. We just did that, and we had a couple of the other guys like help us. Makai helped out a lot, and we created this. And we thought about it afterwards. It was like, we should just make this a First Fight production, because it was gonna be a Petey McGee thing. Like, this is just by Petey McGee. But it was like, nah, we should put this out for the team.
So for anyone that is interested, First Fight is Petey's production. company, but he also has like a short film, and I found it on YouTube. It's called Close Minded. It's has a lot of texture and color to it, and I think that you guys should check it out. You can find it on Petey's channel.
Yes, I believe
right?
so.
Do you have a First Fight YouTube channel too?
I think. I'm not sure. So no. Okay, no, we don't.
One of his
It's
handlers.
coming soon, though.
It's coming soon.
Coming soon. You know, we just figuring
soon.
everything out. We got people that's do. I never know because I need to pay more attention because there are a lot of us working, so people do stuff sometimes. Or we talked about this YouTube channel a few times, so that's why I was like, I'm not sure if we got one yet. We have a Vimeo page, I'm sure.
Okay. Yep, but content is the name of the game now. So we're going to be looking for more content from Mr. Petey McGee. We're also going to be looking out for him on Power Book 2 Ghosts. Anything to expect from you this season?
Yes, a lot of a journey.
Do you get to hold a gun?
No.
All right. He's going to live to season 4, guys. He's going to live to season 4. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking to me. It was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you and speaking to you. If nothing else,
thank you for having me. I want to plug one thing before we go.
Go ahead.
So I am working on a new film right now.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I see. Normally, I try not to ask about that because everybody, I can't talk about that.
Nah, I want people to know. We're in the stages of raising money for it. That's why I'm like, it's even more that
Spill it.
I tell people about it. So it's called Duende, The Little Tragedy of Maz and Sal. It's based on a play that Alexander Pushkin wrote in the 18th century.
Okay.
So it's a classical play that we basically adapted. So you got Mozart, the composer that everybody knows, and you have Salieri, these two composers, and it's about jealousy, it's about envy. Our theme is kind of like about the spirit of jealousy, the spirit of envy, and like, you know, and the spirit of genius. That's a big theme. And I always say, like, genius is one of those things that if you hold on with anything good, if you hold on to it for too long, it starts to corrupt you. So there's a lot. It's about
Kanye.
that. Yeah, you hear me? We had a lot of conversations about Kanye when creating this piece.
I see, because I saw clips of it, and I was like, oh, they trying to channel Kanye.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. What's his name now?
Yeezy.
Whatever it is.
Yep, that man.
There we go.
Donda's son.
There we go.
So
but keep talking about it.
So we are we're creating this film. It's gonna be this wild, crazy ride because we jumping through time. Part of it happens in the 18th century. Part of it happens right now, and you see these two worlds like they start off paralleling. That's a hard word, paralleling, and then they start to converge.
Okay.
So like. There's where like the words like one character will start like Mozart and Maz are counterparts, and then Salieri and Sal. So it's like Sal and Maz in the modern world, Mozart and Salieri in history, and like Mozart will start a sentence, and then like Maz will finish that sentence in the modern world. So it kind of jumps back and forth, and then you just see like it'll be like a feather pen that ends up in the studio in the modern world, and the worlds just start to converge, and you see like, are they gonna make the same choices, the same mistakes? Because, you know, Salieri, in the original story, Salieri poisoned Mozart because he was jealous of him, because he was a hot new musician, composer coming up, and he was getting all the attention, and he was getting too close to genius, too close to God. And Salieri was like, no man should be that close to God.
And we shouldn't idolize.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. It's going to be a bunch of jumping through time, and you know, we got a good team. We got my boy Lucas coming from Kansas City, Emmy Award winning cinematographer.
Woo!
Yeah, you know, so Lucas is coming up. Our director is our professor who taught all of us in acting school at Rutgers. He was our head of acting. He
the
retired
one that told
now.
you don't go with Marty. Woo!
No, that wasn't him. He was already gone by that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he retired a couple years ago. But he's directing the piece. We got a good squad. We got Sterling, Sterling Kelly. I don't know what she goes by now, or they go by.
Okay.
But Tori is what we call Tori.
Okay.
Tori, award-winning costume designer. She does a lot of costumes. She did for Cardi B, for Lil Nas X, a bunch of people that she does costumes for. So we got a rock star team working on this. This is our first big project.
Okay. What are you doing for the project? Are you in it?
I'm just acting in it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just one of the and producing it.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
producing and acting in it, and writing. So it was
back to the essays. There we go.
it was written by. We started this project years ago in college, and it was not going to be anything like this. It was just a classical play. We was going to try to do a rendition of it, and we started it and then just like forgot about it. And then recently we was like, yo, me and Robert, my homeboy who wrote it, who started the writing, was like, yo, we should do Maz and Sal. Remember we was gonna do that? And he wrote a whole script. And then I came in and did a bunch of rewrites, and like me and him worked together. He's the main writer, but I help out on the writing. I edit a bunch, especially the language, because it's black characters, and you know,
Yeah.
I write that language better. So
Right? Yeah. Kind of need your pen there.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Alrighty. So.
but that's it, yeah. So support Duende.
Yes.
We got a Seed and Spark that we raising money on there now for the project. And yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful thing.
It will, and it's gonna be a beautiful season of Power. We know that you're gonna make it to. He's not saying this, guys, so don't get him in trouble. But he's gonna make it to season 4, and he'll come back hopefully and talk to us again on Chronicles of Power. Thank you. Have a good day.